I had stayed late at work, and the streets were unusually quiet. That's when I noticed the white van parked halfway down the block, angled slightly toward the road. Something felt wrong, but I kept walking. As I passed, the side door slid open. A hand grabbed my arm. Another clamped over my mouth before I could scream. I twisted and kicked, but they were faster and stronger. Within seconds, I was pulled inside, and the door slammed shut. The van moved immediately. There were two men. One driving. One watching me calmly. I tried the handle. Locked. No windows. Just darkness and the smell of oil and old fabric. Panic surged, but I forced myself to breathe. The man in the back tied my wrists with zip ties, tight enough to sting. "Stay quiet," he said flatly. I nodded, pretending fear had already claimed me. Minutes passed. Then the van slowed and rolled through a creaking gate onto gravel. They dragged me into a dim warehouse, shoved me into a small room, and shut the door. Alone, I shook but forced myself to think. In the corner, a broken shelf had a sharp metal bracket. I pressed the zip tie against it and slowly dragged it back and forth. The friction burned my wrists, but I kept going. Footsteps echoed outside. I froze. When they passed, I continued. Back and forth. Back and forth. Finally, snap. My hands were free. I wrapped the broken tie loosely around my wrists to make it look intact. The door handle rattled. One man stepped inside, confident. As he leaned closer, I lunged, driving a shoulder into his knees. He stumbled. I didn't wait. I bolted into the hallway, shouting behind me, heavy footsteps chasing. At the end, a metal exit door blocked the way. Locked. My hands shook as I lifted the bar. The door swung open, and cold night air hit me. I ran into darkness. Gravel tore at my shoes as I sprinted toward faint lights in the distance. Behind me, voices shouted, but no one pursued. When headlights appeared on the road, I ran into them, waving desperately. The car screeched to a stop, and I collapsed inside. The police searched the warehouse later. Empty. No van. No men. Sometimes I replay that night, the sliding door, the calm voice telling me to stay quiet. I know how close I came to disappearing. I had one chance to escape. Survival wasn't about strength. It was about refusing to freeze when fear threatened to take over.